CROWNCAST episode
4.
Episode 4. We're pretty much internet famous at this point.
It's like true professionals now.
Yep. I was at the grocery store the other day, and someone came up to me and was like, "Hey, are you Garrett from CROWNCAST?" And I was like, "Yeah, Mom, I'm your son." Love you, Mom.
I mean, we're getting views from our moms and parents.
Yep.
And our employees. So, according to our employees, the podcast is blowing up.
It's huge. It's massive. But yeah, so here we are again, CROWNCAST. So today we're going to go through a project that we just finished last week, actually. Mm-hmm. Well, it's halfway finished. And it was a new PA, new console, clean up a rack, and they had 2 different rooms. And we'll just look at one of the rooms today. Their contemporary room. That's the happening room.
Yeah.
That's where all the sinners go.
Yeah, let me paint the picture of where this place is.
Right.
So this is a different kind of setup for us. It's in a town called Sun City, and you're allowed to drive golf carts on the road in this town.
It's mandatory, actually.
It is.
It's very Florida.
It is very set up and planned for the elderly community to go there and retire, and that is what the town is. I mean, other people live there too, but it is obviously the majority of the people there are retired or elderly people.
Right.
Hence the golf carts and, the road systems and everything. So this church is in Sun City. And we got a call from them probably at least a year ago, because it's another thing with this job. It got really delayed. But when they first called, it's not our typical,
blow it out of the water, mega church,
LED walls and such.
Different flavor.
Yeah, United Methodist Church, Sun City, and not just a Methodist church, but a Methodist church in Sun City. So we're not targeting them at all, but it really is like their congregation are old people,
right? And
that's who live there. And they said, we do tons of events here, and we have parties all the time, and concerts and shows. And we're like, okay, I guess. But they really do. So
it's like a Christian version of the Village.
Villages. It is. It is. And I guess they really do. I mean, they have stuff there all the time.
Yep. Every time I've been there, there's just been a lineup of people waiting to come in.
There have been way more people there that I've expected when I just go there when we were installing.
Right. They're doing
people
something
everywhere.
They're doing something right.
Yeah.
They're reaching the community. People are coming out. They have all these cool events going on.
Yeah. If you're in that community, then you should do stuff that those people are going to go to.
Right.
That makes the most sense. So regardless of all that, they needed an upgrade of their AV systems, because they do have all these events all the time.
Right.
And they also have church services on the weekends. And there's a bunch of people there for the opening of this contemporary room. Mm-hmm. Like you said, there's 2 different kind of auditorium rooms there, like a contemporary auditorium, then more like a sanctuary area. And we had to do them in back-to-back weeks.
Yeah. So last week was the contemporary room, the rock and roll room.
Right.
And then this week, the guys currently right now are in the main auditorium, which is more traditional.
Right.
Big, what do we call it?
There's pipe organs there. I don't know if it works or not, but there are pipes there.
The room is a Hershey Kiss.
The Hershey Kiss building. You've probably seen.
Hershey Kiss is really tough to work inside of.
Yeah. And
big beams,
slanted floors,
yeah,
pews.
Right.
Kind of a lot of our nightmares as far as installation goes.
Yeah. Raised or angled seating.
Nice.
Everything in our way.
Nice ceiling it's not blacked out.
Right.
It's not the contemporary room. It's a sanctuary or whatever. So it's wood ceilings, and so you can't hide cables easily. It's a lot of challenges. But
yeah. So last week was the contemporary room. So we went in there and did that. Yep. And then this week the guys are on site right now, finishing up this other room. Right. And after this podcast, I'm going to go tune that system. Yep. And it's kind of cool because we did a similar system for both rooms. They had a budget that we had to try and work inside of, but they wanted to update their audio. That was the biggest thing. They had some old stuff, and we'll look at it here, and really old stuff and not cool stuff. Yeah. So we were able to do a similar PA in both rooms, different size speakers that we'll go through and look at.
Yeah, we upgraded their audio console too. I don't know if you said that. I think maybe you did.
Yeah.
And we're doing some lighting stuff too.
Oh, that's right.
But yeah, they were very. They wanted to keep the systems the same in both rooms if possible because they have a limited staff and they work with a bunch of volunteers.
Right.
And so they wanted to be able to jump from room to room and know the systems. So same audio console in both, same lighting stuff in both.
Right.
Pretty much the same PA, just a little different size, but
Right.
same microphone. We did a bunch of microphones too.
Right. Yeah. So these projects are a little bit different than what we're used to.
Yeah.
But quality is quality. Sound is sound. It's got to sound good. It's got to sound clear. It's got to sound to some degree powerful. I mean, they're not going to be pushing anyone out the room with their subs, but it ended up sounding good in that contemporary room.
Yeah, and it's not like that a gigantic budget, but we still want to try to do the best. We always try to do the best with the money that we have.
Right.
And so in cases like this, we'll use different products.
Right.
That we don't normally use, just save some money, but still we research those things and try to figure out if it's going to work and if it's going to be quality for them.
Right.
To meet their needs. But not everybody's going to have this, massive budget and big mega church building. So
Yep.
gotta find ways to do it.
But we can adapt and overcome.
And we do.
And we do every time. So let's jump into it. You want to go to a commercial break? Also like and subscribe.
Yeah, we don't say that enough.
We don't say that enough. My kids say it.
Yeah.
My kids,
the language they know.
My kids' generation is going to be so messed up.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Like, my boy is like YouTube Kids come to life. Everything's just like, hey, woo, like and subscribe, click and subscribe. It's
emotes and all the,
They love it. They love it.
Yeah. They know the lingo.
Yeah. So like and subscribe. We'd love to get more, get this out there. If it's helpful, if it's educational, if it's entertaining, if it's whatever it is. I don't even know what you call it. CROWNCAST. But yeah, here's our commercial sponsor.
AVL systems are great when they work and a nightmare when they don't. Well, we've come up with a solution for when they don't. Crown Care is our subscription-based service program where you get 24/7 support, 24/7 critical system monitoring, and a host of other goodies. If you're interested in Crown Care, please give us a call or contact us through our website.
All right, we're back.
And we're back. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, our sponsor.
Amazing. Amazing work.
Saved my life this weekend. crowncare.help. Just changed my life.
Yeah, I had to use it. I had to use it personally.
Absolutely.
On my home system.
All right. So where are we in this project? What is this project? Where is this project? Who is this project?
So we talked a little bit about it, but again, it's United Methodist Church in Sun City. That's a large organization, obviously. They have churches all over the country.
We're in tight with the United Methodists.
We've done a lot of them.
Yeah.
It's
good people.
Yeah, we've done a lot, and that word kind of spreads through it because they are all connected.
Right.
So yeah, we end up working with them a lot, which is great.
It's been great.
But yeah, they're in Sun City. It's an old building. I shouldn't say old. It probably is old. It's been around. It's probably been there for a long time. But it's not like it was decrepit or anything. I mean, it's just an older building.
Right.
And very happening place in Sun City with all the elderly people.
Right.
Like a lot of people going there.
Yep.
And they wanted to do major overhaul of their AV systems.
Right.
Specifically, most importantly, their PA, their sound.
Yep.
And if we could squeeze anything else out of it, they wanted some lighting.
Yep.
And so that's what we did. The first building that we did was the contemporary room.
Yep.
Which is kind of more our vibe. It's, blacked out ceiling and a square room and a flat floor and seats, the typical modern kind of churches, which is why they have that contemporary vibe going on in there for this type of service.
Yeah, let's take a look. I got some pictures of the room before the install. So here it is, just pretty, this is obviously a multi-purpose room. It had or I don't know if they use it anymore, but room dividers. That wouldn't work out very well with the stage, but they have it here. But we've only seen it open like this. So you can see here, just pretty typical rectangle room. And they had I think just a couple 12-inch point source. So I think they had 4 trying to get the width of the room. This is their front of house section. Bit of a mess. We did some cleaning up. We moved some racks around, gave them a little room. I mean, look at that front of house console and that rack.
Yeah, it is. You
Skinny
have to
people.
Be very, very skinny to
Skinny mixing.
to get behind that console.
And we all know you're not a front of house engineer unless you have a couple extra pounds on you. That's just what it comes with the territory. So what are we supposed to do here? We need to make room for our sound engineer. So yeah, here it is. This is the old workhorse, the GLD 80 Allen Heath.
Yep.
And its bigger brother got put in by us. So this guy was old. It looks like it's old. It looks like it's taken a little bit of a licking.
Yep.
These consoles were pretty cool, though. I mean, for earlier digital consoles, like, they did well.
Yeah.
You know, they had everything in it, and they had their quirks, but we've been taking a lot of them out.
It's true.
We've been putting in Avantises and D-Lives,
Yep.
and these are all paperweights now, unfortunately. I mean, you can still use them for a bunch of stuff, but who knows what they are going to use that for. But yeah, this is the rack, so you can see some other legacy Allen Heath stuff in there.
Look at those cables.
Just random. Yeah, we cleaned all that up and moved that stuff, but put in network for them so that they could have a little bit more network capabilities. But yeah, let's take a quick look at the room. I've got a model that we were working off of. Like that. Boom. So if you see it, or I guess more square, but
Yeah.
the seating area got a little weird because they actually ended up putting seats on these sides here. So let's just take a look here. But this is the model that we use to kind of make sure, you know, sound and speakers and locations has got to be in a good spot for sound so that you get the appropriate coverage. But I mean, you got to watch out for sight lines and everything too.
Yep.
So this is what we use for that. You can see here we have our projected system, which ended up being some tops, some point source line arrays, some subs on the floor. This whole stage was concrete, so we couldn't get under it, couldn't do anything with it. So we had to move the subs into like the most inconspicuous location for them, which it worked. Some side fills for the seating on the side and some front fills for some people that are way up close here. But that was the idea. And that's essentially what happened. So first off, we went through a couple different speaker manufacturers. We tried to find them something. At the time, this install was going to happen fast.
Yeah, like I said, they contacted us probably a year ago. That'd be really fast. About a year ago, and they had their budget already ready, and they were ready to go right away, and they wanted to do it really quick. And so we did a number of designs. I think we did an L acoustics setup for them, and it was just, it couldn't hit the budget. It was too much. We did a couple other things too, and then it kind of morphed. That job morphed. It started with only this room. That's how it started, just a contemporary room.
Oh, okay.
And then it morphed into, could we somehow get both rooms? And we were already kind of smashing the budgets. We were like, oh man, how are we going to pull this off? So then we went deep and started researching some other stuff, and ended up on this JBL PA and some Sennheiser microphones, and like you said, an Avantis console in this room.
Yep.
And then some network upgrades, and then a lot of cleanup. We didn't touch their projection system in here.
No, we didn't do anything.
We didn't touch any other lighting in here, other than we put in Vista. We put in a new software for control for them. They kept all the lights. We just kind of put in a control system for them, and all their stuff stayed in the same place.
Right. We put some DSP in.
Yep.
For some of the speaker management.
Yep.
And also some digital snakes for them.
Correct, for I/O on the stage.
Yep.
Yep.
And then
at the front
their main
house.
rack. Yep.
Yeah.
So those were Avantis and then DX168s.
Yep.
So, okay, well, that's the way it was supposed to look, and it pretty much ended up looking exactly like that.
Yeah, it did.
Let's take a look. Who would have thought? From rendering to reality. Here's some install pics. Here's a video. So there it is. Boom.
There's the BA.
The actual speakers in the air. Rigged to fly. Subs on the floor.
Yep.
Front fills.
It's kind of crazy they had a concrete stage in that room.
Yeah.
Like that, but
They cleaned all this up too. They had a bunch of stuff up here. This is not our fault, people.
yeah.
They cleaned it up.
This was one of those, we weren't doing the whole room kind of jobs.
Yep.
Those are always a little bit weird because
Yep.
we're like, how far do we take it? how much stuff do we actually do.
Right. This was me tuning the system. Just trying to show it's smart out. So yeah, that's the room. Exactly like the rendering. Everything's there exactly the same. So it happened, people. This calibration mic in the center of the room. This was just during that process of tuning. It was my first time tuning this system. We had put these speakers in somewhere else.
Yep.
And we're going to get into them in a second here. That's in the middle of the room, I think. That's the trace in the middle of the room. Yeah, let me see. We put these same speakers in another church a couple months ago. Mm-hmm. I didn't tune it, though. Luke tuned it. I actually didn't get there. I didn't get to go listen to it, the final product. You did.
Yep.
I had heard these speakers prior. I had gone to a demo at Full Sail. Shout out Full Sail, taking all my money. But we did a demo there and got to hear these. And they sounded pretty good. And I could tell when I heard them in the demo that I think I was like, there's something there. I think that needs a little bit of tuning, though. And I'm like, I think we could get it to somewhere that is our style or acceptability to our clients. And so this was the first time that I got to tune the system and hear it the way that we put these systems together and hear it with sources through it and all that stuff on our own.
Yeah, and we always have to balance money. So we listen to speakers, and we're a bit audio snobs.
Audiophiles, big time.
So we listen to speakers, and then you find out how much it costs, and then you decide how good it is.
Right.
I mean, that's what my brain does.
Right.
It's like if you put this next to like a Meyer or an L Acoustics or something, obviously you would pick the Meyer L Acoustics.
Right.
But if you put it by itself and say it costs X amount of dollars and you can have this in your room, then you're like, okay, yeah, that's much better than whatever, buying something online somewhere, just some randomness.
Right. There's a quality that you just have to pay for.
Yeah.
There's some speakers. There's like the big three, Meyer, D&B, L Acoustics, and you can't go wrong with any of them. Right. They sound great, and you have to pay for them. Then there's like the middle of the road guys that they're all competing for this medium budget number.
Yep.
And that's what I'd put these guys in.
And that medium budget number is a pretty hot market.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because everybody wants the top three.
Yep.
They all want that great, and we get the opportunity of putting those systems in a lot.
Yeah, it's
so
worth
we
it.
love it.
Right.
And we try to push clients that way because it is worth it.
Yep.
But if you can't do it, then we have to go down a notch, and then we enter this middle world where it is very competing, and there's a lot of products. So like top three is like top three, right? There's only like three you can really choose from. Go in the middle. I mean,
there's a lot of other companies. I mean,
yes,
there's Adamson. I mean, the list goes on, and everyone's competing all in the same spots. But typically, what the top boys are doing, and then what the mid boys are doing, and then we just don't even deal with the low.
We
the
try,
lowest of the low.
We don't
touch them.
Yeah,
I can't sleep. I wouldn't be able to sleep at
We
night.
don't use the middle guys a whole lot either. I mean, we really try because the importance of audio is just such a big thing, especially in churches and production and stuff. So we really try to push that way. And if we can't do it, then yes, we join the middle group, and then we go and find out, what's the best for the room, I guess. And this is where we ended up on this job.
Yeah. Sound and hearing is one of our few senses that we have. It's worth making it a good one.
Yeah. You got to pay for it though.
You got to pay for it. Okay, so let's dive into these speakers. Let's do a quick review. I want to do a review of the speakers, what they claim, and then I'm going to talk about my experience tuning it and how I felt actually in the room. And listen, this is just my opinion, which is exactly right. But different rooms, different styles, different everything. Yep. But I got a pretty good bead on what these speakers are. So, all right, Ben, what speakers did we fly in the contemporary room at Sun City Center?
So the main PA, we use the SRX 906 LA, which is the line array speaker.
All right.
Has a dual 6-inch speaker in it. They're powered. Their rigging system is pretty nice. Actually, it goes together really well. The guys really like it.
Yep.
It's got like those first two clicks on the front of the speaker, and then you kind of just push the back up, and there's that connection on the back.
Mm-hmm.
And you can easily see your degrees on
Yep.
that back section, so you can know your pin out for your rigging. So that makes it a lot easier.
And some speakers manufacturers, that's very confusing.
Yes,
I
Yeah.
mean, it's like, all right, in this configuration, you turn it this way, but then in this configuration, you got to take that bar out and turn it
take
upside
out, turn it
down.
upside down. The angles change, the degrees change.
To try and give us more and more degrees of separation,
Right.
like and options, but it becomes very confusing for us,
Right.
us dull-minded integrators.
This was not. I mean, this is printed on there very nicely and bright. The guys really liked it. They put it together quickly and easy.
Some of these manufacturers, these speaker manufacturers, expect us to know every little thing about their product. They put so much time into it.
Yeah.
But we're just dealing with so many products that like you cannot remember every little
Yeah.
pin thing. It's wild.
Yeah, you're not building these.
They
things
just
every
expect
day.
you to remember though. It's like, dude, my life is only so long.
So that's the. Yeah, there it is in the array form.
Right.
We use the rigging system as well with it. That top bar piece.
Yep.
And that was nice too. Through the software, it gives you the hole, gives you the pick point,
Yep. And I can show you. I can show you some of that software.
and that'll control your angle of the array. So yeah, it went together really well. They are compact,
Yeah.
pretty small form factor, so they were easy to work with. It's a good size for this room.
Right.
They claim. Here's what they claim. Then you can talk about it.
Okay.
Here's their highlights. Ready? Best in class performance. So
Absolutely.
like we said, this middle of the range world is such a competing class here. So they're claiming best in class performance.
Sometimes they create a new class to say that though. Just FYI.
Their JBL transducer technology delivers class leading sonic performance
Oh,
and
even-
superior dynamic range.
Superior.
All right.
I love it.
They claim to have an innovative acoustical design.
Yep.
So that's their 2-range speaker that they claim is with the single horn in there. Their power solution they claim is top notch as well, which is Class D amplification in the speaker. It's a powered speaker.
Mm-hmm.
And then they claim that line is a complete system, which I would agree. This line is a complete system. They have the
Internal
arrays and
DSP.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they have. It's a cool little system, man. It's got like every little. They've thought through the accessories. They thought through the different types of deployments. As we were going through pictures of this, sub, or this is like
That little
this is
chariot kind of thing, and
Yeah.
yeah.
you can put
it-
2 over a sub, 4 over 2 subs. Like this is a very versatile system. They thought through it real well. I like it.
Yep.
And so, yeah, they also had, so we did 4 of these per side.
Yep.
Then we did 2 of their 18-inch subs in the same family.
Yep, per side. The SRX 918S,
Yep.
which is an 18-inch sub.
Those also have internal DSP
Yep.
networking.
They claim a lot of the same things, best-in-class performance
Yep.
on their sub.
Of course.
Claim that they are configurable, that you can basically make this a cardioid array. I don't know if this is true, but you can make
Yeah.
this a cardioid array by simply changing the selections in the presets.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's something that they claim with this sub.
Yep.
It's a powered sub as well, and they're still claiming that this is a complete system, which I believe that it is.
Absolutely. Yeah, so these speakers actually come with a couple different softwares to use to help you do some pre-planning, help you identify any issues and what the speaker's going to be doing in the room. So the first software, if I can pull it up here, if I can find it, is LAC. Where's it at here? There it is. Boom. See that okay? Yeah.
Yep.
So here's the first software that you can put in your listening planes, your ground, just kind of on this side elevation model, and you can put in your PA and choose, which speaker it is. They have a little bit. They have some auto splaying to help you identify the angles to take care of the room. And then you can kind of put a couple mics on there, like I did here, and see the traces. And It's you know, it ain't no map or sound vision, but it helps you. It helps you make the decisions as to how large an array you need for a certain size of a room.
This one gives you the pinouts and stuff too for the rigging on this software.
Yeah. So here it shows the pinouts and the center of gravity for hanging the PA. It tells the weight, and then in the bottom left corner there's an actual QR code that you're supposed to be able to use for the next software. So this is kind of a planning software. You go through it, you try and put in your tolerances and look at it and make sure it's going to work.
Yeah.
And then you on site, once you get everything in there, I'm gonna click out of here real quick. You use a different software, and this is their performance software. So here's what this looks like. And this is the actual file. So this is the file we used in the room. So here so all of these cabinets are networked. So you run a home run to one of the speakers, and then you daisy chain down. They all have in and out network connections. And I'm not sure how they do it, but they do claim that they all work together, kind of know where each other are. They see each other in this software. They know that the top speaker's the top and the bottom's the bottom, the whole thing. And so when you're using the software, you first connect it up to the network, make sure that every IP's correct, and then you build your system here, grabbing speakers, bringing it in, and then it connects and sees it all.
Yeah. And
it worked pretty good. So there's a connection screen, and from this screen here, you can create different groups on the left here, and then also a pretty quick and easy way of muting things. So let's take a look here. So these are all the different views. So I'll go to main. So here's our mute matrix. I'm going to go down to this next one. This is the tuning one. So here's where you can do some gain shading, which we did. Here's our mute matrix on this page. Speaker presets. So here is where you can choose your crossovers. And this is where you kind of tell the computer, hey dude, this is an array. So do your array magic here, bro. And it does its array magic. Same with the subs. You can choose your crossover and forward and rear. So I guess this is where if you had 3 of them, you could put it into a cardioid. Yeah. It's probably a 2/1. So it's probably 1 forward in the middle, then it's backwards, and the top is forward again. And that's how you do that. So here's our speaker presets. Once again, gain. Polarity. This is helpful for testing the speakers. Our installers, our dudes are perfect. They never make a mistake. But other places they could
swap a cable.
They could swap a cable, a solder, and then polarity's off.
Right.
And sound is all about timing, phase, frequency. So if something's out of phase, it's bad.
Yeah. So we do this kind of thing on any PA that we put in.
Right.
On every manufacturer, most of them have their own softwares,
right,
depending on what we're tuning with. But
yeah,
it's not. People probably don't know. We don't just hang speakers up and say you have a new PA.
Right.
That's the big part of it.
Right.
The physical install, getting it in there and getting it safely in the air and in the right place and all that, even the right angles during the install. But then there's this whole other side that most people probably don't even know what happens.
Yeah.
And it's tuning that room and that specific PA in that room.
Right.
And yeah, sometimes you get stuck with, the software for that manufacturer. So like this JBL, we hadn't used it much at all.
Yeah.
So you have to just jump in and try to figure out. I mean, they all kind of are doing the same things and kind of speaks the same language.
Right.
But yeah, it's a huge part of putting PAs in rooms is the tuning portion. And even some on bigger PAs, when we do big PAs, like L Acoustics they'll come out and they'll help tune the room as well.
Yeah.
They'll come on site and do it.
Right.
So it's a huge piece and probably something that a lot of people don't see a lot of.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's a whole process. And it's very important to do it in the steps of the process. So like this phase, you have to identify if you have a bad cable or something's out of phase, before you start tuning.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, phase is the direction of the wave, the sound wave. So whether it's a peak I'm just destroying this right now. My brain's not working. Gotta go back to my full cell days. So it's either, when a speaker pushes out, it pushes air. Air is compressed, and we look at that, in 2 dimensions, and you see a sine wave. So when the wave is up, that means it's a compression. When the wave is below the 0 volt line, it is a refraction. So it's the opposite. So all that speaker is doing is moving and pushing air tighter together. And then when you push them together, there's a vacuum and there's less air molecules on the other side.
And people probably have seen that. If they ever taken a grill off of a speaker, you could, obviously you look at a speaker, it's physical movement. It's going out and, it's pushing in and out. That's what it's doing.
Yeah. All sound is moving air.
Right.
That's it. And it's the molecules in the air. It's like if you throw a pebble into a pond and you see the ripples, and you just see it on the surface. That's what sound is, but in 3D. Right. So if I clap, that sound wave's going everywhere. It's like the Matrix. It's like watching the bullets go through the air.
Right.
And so phase is making sure that all of those speakers are pushing forward at the same time. If one is pushing forward and one is pushing backwards, they cancel each other out. That means out of phase. Yep. And so at this point, we are identifying each speaker, making sure that they are pushing at the same time. And now why would that go wrong? Why would we have something out of phase? With an array, a line array, where you have all the speakers together, the phase between them all can only be disrupted or messed up if we mess up a cable.
Right.
If we terminate a cable, say this is a passive system, well, you're talking about 2 conductors, a positive and a negative conductor. If you swap that, you still get sound through a speaker.
Yep.
It just means that instead of pushing forward first,
it's sucking back.
It's kind of sucking back, like if you want to call it that. Yeah. So it's like that. So in this scenario here, it's an active PA. It's a little different. We're only running one drive line to it.
Right.
And then it's getting daisy chained down the whole PA because all that DSP is inside those speakers. We don't have to run a bunch of different lines.
Right.
But still, you never know. Maybe one of those connecting cables
could be bad or
funky
or something,
and it's out of phase. So phase is extremely important. So first off is phase in between the speakers right there, making sure that all those are performing at the same time.
Right.
And then we have to also listen to phase in between the 2 speakers. So maybe we got the drive line to house left right, but the drive line to house right is wrong.
Right.
Well, now you got house left and right going in different timing as well.
Right.
And I showed when I was tuning the system, I put a whole array out of phase and showed our newbie, Matthew. I'm like, hey, dude, come listen to this. And we stand in the middle of the room. I'm like, you hear that? And we're just listening to pink noise.
Yeah.
So pink noise is what we use to look at equal amplitude of all frequencies according to our ear. And we use that calibration mic, and we look at the speakers and what it sounds like. And so he's standing there, and it's all in phase. And then you put one whole array out of phase, and it's like the air gets sucked out of your head. It's like, what? It's just like, whoa, like it knocks you out. You're like, oh, it's the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah.
And so I'm like showing him that. I'm like, that's what out of phase sounds like. And that's the timing. That's the timing of those waves.
Right.
So the first thing we do is check phase. We check phase in between the speakers of the array. We check phase in between everything. Make sure that all the cabling's correct. All the speakers are pushing the right frequencies. Nothing weird's happening. That's number 1. And so this is helpful, having phase.
Yeah.
Right there. Polarity is another word for phase. Delay. So delay as well. It gives us delay here, which is a very important thing. When speakers are in different locations in space, you are closer or further away from these speakers.
Right.
Once again, we want all of these speakers to combine and be pushing the air in the same direction at the exact same time. So that delay, in this scenario, we got our tops, and they are in the air.
Right.
They're further away from you if you're standing on the ground.
Right.
The subs are on the ground, and they're closer to you.
Yeah.
So if you're playing a sound at the exact same time between the 2, you're going to hear the sub before you hear the tops.
Correct.
Now, it's so fast, you can't really tell. But it's out of time.
Yeah.
It's not right. So we delay the subs because they're closer to us. And really what we're doing is creating that single wave.
Right. Boom, boom.
All those
Everything
frequencies,
hitting at once.
all that wave at the same time. And when we do it, there's calculations that we can make. The difference in the distance between things. It's about a foot a millisecond. That's the speed of sound. But you got to dial it in, and there's differences between tenths of a millisecond.
Yeah, it's so minute, but when it's all dialed in,
Oh yeah,
you
feel it.
yeah, you know it.
Yep.
So you get that sense. If it's a tiny bit off, you might just think it kind of just sounds bad in the room or something like that if you don't really know what's going on. But,
Right.
And there's a lot of timing going on just in the arrays as well,
Right.
from bottom to top.
Yep. Yeah. So we will sometimes we'll use a couple mics and we'll look and we'll actually time all that stuff, and we'll look at those frequencies and we'll time align it that way with the computer.
Yeah.
The computer has a place in this whole thing, but at the end of the day, it's your ear, and there's a moment where it clicks and you're like, oh dang, that's it, man.
Yeah.
So another thing too is you're in different spots. People are in
Right.
different spots in the room, so you can't really mix for one exact location, but you
Right.
want to make sure that all those waves are moving together.
Yeah.
And then calibration. So this has got some fun stuff for the array here. So there's array size compensation and throw distance compensation. So these are two things that go along with having multiple speakers working together. So if we were to look at, I didn't do any of this, whatever you call it, I forget what these called it, array size compensation. So this is a way of pulling. If I do it, you have to do the whole PA or the whole stack of 4 speakers, and you can bring down some low mids and stuff. When you put all these speakers together, they technically turn into one speaker.
Right.
There's coupling,
Right.
so you get a lot of low mid and mid coupling together, and it becomes like one big speaker. The high frequencies, less and less coupled. They are more like laser beams, so they shoot and there's no coupling between them. They interact with each other.
Right.
Anytime you have these different sources and timing and frequency, they interact and they'll pull the beams, and that's how we move sound with one speaker,
Right.
or 2 speakers. You can take one speaker and another one, put them out of timing, and you can move and move the sound around. Mm-hmm. And so this calibration page is supposed to be able to help us dial down some of the low mid coupling that could happen because we have all these 4 speakers together.
Right.
And then this part, this is the, what do they keep calling it? Throw distance compensation. There's like a million different names for all this stuff.
Yeah.
Man. It's annoying. But yeah. So this here is when we have 4 speakers, 1, 2, 3, 4. The top speaker is shooting the furthest. It's going to the back of the room. The next one down is going a little less.
Right.
The next one going down a little less. And then the bottom one is your closest speaker to the floor, to the front row, to whatever.
Right.
So between all of those, we change gain so that as you get further away, those top speakers get louder.
Right.
But a big thing is frequency. Typically, with some PAs, we don't do any gain shading. It's only frequency shading. So you are pushing high frequencies on the top box because it's going further.
Yep.
That laser beam of the high frequencies. Then coming down the high frequencies,
Roll them off.
roll them off. So here's a little bit of high frequency control here. So as we get closer to the bottom speaker, we get more and more high frequency roll off, because when you're in the front row, you don't want to get blasted with laser beams. So that's the calibration page here, and then the EQ. So the EQ is in these groups, and that's the EQ. That was the main group EQ on the house left PA, the 4 speakers. So I had to dig into it a bit.
Yeah.
The room was pretty square, so it was kind of resonant, these low frequencies. But the highs, I get it. Some of these speakers, they put a good chunk of high in there to try and kick through and cut through and get an SPL level or something like that.
Right.
And, you don't want a dull speaker, so I guess you want something there. But I had to dial it down a good amount. I had to dial it down. So,
Well, that got a little nerdy.
sorry.
Well,
Too
it's
much
good-
internet?
no,
Is that too much for
it's
you,
a good
internet?
point.
I'm
I mean, that's why I brought it up, because this is what happens like on every job we do,
Right.
and this is like a small, simple thing, but we still go through all these exercises and the science part of it, if you want to say that.
Yep.
You know, when we tune the rooms, just to make it the best possible in the room for what they have.
Yep.
And especially with these line array systems, because you have so many other options to tune with,
Right.
versus like a point source box. So if you guys probably have seen it in your own churches or whatever, if you just have a single speaker and you're having to blast it so the back part of the room can hear it, and the front row is just getting hammered by the sound, it's because you don't have that separate control, you know, of just a single speaker. Mm-hmm. So on these line arrays, you get to do all this science and change gains and frequencies per the array, so that ideally the sound sounds pretty much the same no matter where you are in the room.
Right.
That's the whole idea of all this whole process.
Coverage and frequency coverage across the room.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of line array systems like this,
Right.
versus just a single speaker up there, when you just have to turn that thing on and hope for the best.
Right. Yeah. So the idea behind these point source arrays is to really give you that gradient of sound from front to back.
Right.
It's not just to look cool, people.
Right.
People like, we get it sometimes.
Yeah, we want the line array.
We want a line array. I'm like, well, I don't know about your room, dude. You might not need a line array. I don't know.
Yeah.
And if you're a Danley dude, there's an ongoing joke about Danley speakers and being against line array.
Yeah.
They're all single box stuff, and we take them out of venues like crazy. Sorry, Danley. Okay, so this is the JBL SRX 906.
It's a smaller one.
I would say it's a pretty good sounding speaker. I would say it's pretty good for its...
I was going to say, put the price tag on it.
Yeah, versatile.
Yeah.
You can do a couple different configurations with it. It's got the online, the inside DSP, internal DSP.
Yeah.
The software is pretty intuitive. We did have a quick issue with one of the versions. We had to go through a couple different versions, but whatever. That's typical for this stuff.
Yeah.
And so I could hear the signature sound of it for sure. Like sometimes as you're tuning, you're trying to get a sound, right? You're kind of like you listen to it and you go, I don't like that part of this sound. And you're trying to get rid of it.
Right.
Sometimes what you're trying to get rid of is baked into the pie on the speaker. It's just the sound of the speaker.
Yeah.
It's the signature of the speaker. It's whatever the engineering is of the box and the amp and its crossovers and all that stuff. And there's only so much you can do with these EQs to change it. But in this scenario, the thing was hot in the highs. It was just, it had that, and I had to dial it down.
Yeah.
And then it got comfortable, and we listened to a bunch of songs.
Yeah.
You know it's good when we do the tune and then we start listening to music.
Right.
That's the key to if you have a good PA.
Yep.
If I tune a system and it's a bad speaker and it ain't working, I'm not gonna sit around and listen to more music.
Right.
I'm gonna be like, oh my goodness, I feel beat up.
Yeah.
I can't make this thing sound good. It's too cheap a speaker. It sounds like crap. When it's okay like this, we ended up listening to like a bunch of tracks. Like, oh, listen to this, oh, listen to that. We're kind of walking around listening to the PA.
Yeah. That's kind of the result I got, I think, from when I heard him. I haven't heard this room yet, but
Right.
I heard him before. And you just, again, my brain goes to money, and for the price,
Right.
it's pretty dang good.
Yep.
Pretty good setup.
Yep. Yeah, I liked it. So they're a good mid speaker. It'll be interesting to see. I'm literally going after this to tune that next system, and it'll be the 10 inch.
brother, yeah.
It'll be the 10-inch speaker.
10-inch
version.
array.
Yeah. It's still 4 per side. Maybe we'll do. I don't know. Next week, is that boring to just do another one of these? Maybe another podcast on it.
Yeah.
But I would say that's my review on this speaker. I like it. I think it's pretty good. I think it's versatile, and I was able to cut into it without losing too much. So I had enough texture and canvas there to make things sound good still. Even though I had to cut some stuff out, it worked.
Yeah. And on the other side, it rigs together really easily.
Right.
They're powered if you like that world, so it makes it a little easier for you just to throw it together.
Yep.
And they were available. So that's always a big thing these days as well. These speakers are available,
Right.
pretty readily available.
Yeah.
So you can jump on something and do it quick if you wanted to.
Yep. The subs, I did a little bit of tuning. That's more the room. I mean, the subs sounded, they weren't super infra low frequency. Like they weren't like kicking on 30 hertz. Right. It was like 80 hertz. 80 was its 80 hertz was where it lived. It was just punchy. It was punchy. It was good.
But for this job, this application, it
was fine.
Is what they needed.
This is not
like they're not. There are old people going there for parties and big shows, but they're not. I mean, maybe they do techno raves or something. I don't even know.
When I was doing the tuning, I listened to it at reference. I listened to it loud enough.
Right.
I listened to it at a bunch of different levels.
Right.
But I listened to it at reference most of the time.
Right.
And then I'll pump it to make sure that we don't break anything. Right. I'll look at the limiters. I'll look at the speakers. And we'll play like some infected mushroom. Let's see.
Does anybody walk in? A lot of times we get people to poke their head in.
I was about to say, people coming in with worried faces.
Shaking the walls, and they're like, what?
Yeah, it's like, like really crazy. And I was trying to see what the subs are doing. I was trying to see where things peak out.
Right.
Just putting the PA through its paces.
Right.
Making sure everything's safe. Because you never know what some dude's going to do with the console. They could just mess something up and destroy. Like everything has to have limiters on it to keep it safe.
Yeah.
And then, so I was doing that, and then all these people were coming in like, oh my goodness, what's going on in here? Oh my goodness.
They usually come in during the tuning with the pink noise on, and they are like scared that the system's blown up or something because you just hear static.
Yeah, they don't understand.
Right. And they always come and ask,
what's
going on? Is it okay?
And some of the songs I listen to are like not church songs.
Right.
Unfortunately, the church music industry does not have the greatest audiophile tracks on earth. The audiophile tracks we listen to, I'm used to, are mixed a little differently than a lot of stuff. They're very clean, punchy, sharp sometimes, but you really get the feel of a PA from them. Yeah. And so, I'll throw in some Pharrell, and Travis Scott or something like that. And it's, gets a little scary for the old people, but you got to hear the PA. And nowadays there's so many great sounding tracks or just massive punchy tracks. You really get an idea of what the PA can do. So that was the sub. I got some more pictures here. You want to see some?
Yeah.
All right. So I was showing you some pictures of the install. This is kind of the final. Let's take a look. Ooh, there it is. Nice picture. I love it.
We did not do the lighting.
We didn't do the lighting,
but
we didn't do anything except for the speakers. And the side fills.
Oh yeah.
Those end up going higher. So the guys put them at my original height, but once I was in the room, I was like, oh, we got to raise those.
And we did those side fills because, as you can see in the picture, they sometimes put seating directly left and right of the stage.
Absolutely.
They're trying to pack people. They're trying to pack people in there.
Yeah.
And they needed that space, and so they just decided to do it on those wings, and they are like perpendicular from the stage. Kind of a weird setup, but they had to have some type of sound over there.
Yep. So that's it in all its glory. In all its sonic glory. JBL, thank you. Thank you for getting us these speakers in time so we can do this.
It's a good fit.
Yep. And then we did training. So let me see here. This is our boy Luke Wheat, American hero.
Luke's the one with the orange hat.
Nope.
Sorry, brown hat.
Yeah. So he's in his green attire, camo. He's trying to blend in there. This is the Avantis, Alan Heath Avantis, and he's training. So they were kind of in the Alan Heath world already. Right. So they had the GLD, and now they're in the Avantis. And the Avantis, I don't want to just keep doing product reviews, but it's one of our favorite. It's one of the best bang for your bucks console right now.
Yeah.
So 64x64. It's got a bunch of stuff. It's a D-Live. It's a baby D-Live.
Right.
And they have two different versions of it. They have the 2-screen and the 1-screen. They call it the Solo, I think. But we put these in everywhere. They sound good. The pre sound good. It's really good for volunteers. Very visual.
Right.
Very tactical. You just, hit an EQ curve and do the whole thing. Though I don't think this works still. There's all these pictures of the bandwidth pinch. I can't remember if it works. I remember when they first came out with the D-Lives too. I had a picture of a guy going like this.
Right.
I'm like, oh, it does that? And they're like, nope. Bad picture.
That's what you're used to if you have an iPhone.
Right. Yeah, so those are the speakers. Yeah, that was it. So the training went well. Luke said that, they're very responsive and they had a ton of really great questions.
Yeah, when I was there, 2 different guys came in and said they had downloaded the manual for the console and have read the whole thing. So, I mean, and they may have, because again, this is the elderly community and they're retired, and this is what they do on the weekends or during the week or whatever. They come and they get to mix a show or something.
Yeah.
So they wanted to learn it, and they were asking some like legit questions. We were like, oh, they probably really did read it.
Yeah.
Like, this is kind of it was a little different. It wasn't like the standard, just normal volunteer that just wants to come in and just push faders around. Like they had dug deep on the thing and really tried to learn it.
Yeah, it's fun to mix sound, and it'll be more fun for them to mix on this system.
Right.
So if you have a retired dude coming in to mix a couple shows during the week, that's awesome. If you can take the crippling critiquing from everyone as a sound guy.
Yeah.
But
be prepared.
Yeah, so this is a point. I think Luke told me that they were in the middle of rehearsal and then the doors opened and everyone just came running.
Yeah, that
in.
is not the service. That is the rehearsal, and they just opened the doors.
They opened the doors.
But people were there early.
Yep.
They're ready.
They were so excited to hear the JBL SRX system that they like broke through the doors.
Yeah, they pushed it down.
They're like, we're in here. Let's listen to it. So yeah. Turned out good, man. Once again, another successful install.
It was quick. I mean, it was one of those where we had to do it in between weekends.
Yep.
Because they couldn't be down. And honestly, we had to schedule this like months in advance because they kept saying they just have so many events. And I remember when they first said that, I was thinking, there's no way that they had this many events. This is crazy. We can't get a week to install it. But it pushed it way out months. And come to find out, they really do have events like every other night in the building somewhere. Yep. So we had to do, it's relatively a small job, but still, when you're under some type of time crunch like this, there's a little more pressure involved in getting it done and having enough time to have a rehearsal,
right?
Having enough time to have some training before the weekend happens.
Right.
So the days go really quick, for sure.
Yeah, when you only have 1 week to do something, like the most important thing is like day 1, you're trying to identify any issues, like anything you're missing,
something?
Inventory,
Yeah.
find something in the ceiling that messes you up for rigging, whatever. You try and find it as soon as possible so that you have as long as possible to fix it.
Yeah, we learned that early on, by the hard way.
Right. Yeah, you need that time. First thing you do, go on site, make sure everything is there, everything looks good, and you're ready to go.
Especially if they want to have a training and rehearsal, which they did. That eats up a whole day.
Yeah.
So now you only have Monday through Thursday to get everything done and working.
Yeah.
So it goes quick.
Right. So yeah, that was it.
Yeah. Cool little job.
Cool little job.
And I think the next room is going to be cooler. Honestly, this is a little preview to it, but it's a
tough, man.
Hard room to work in.
Hard room to work in, hard room to design. It's tough.
Yeah. But we used the bigger speakers in here, so we haven't heard those yet.
I'm about to hear them.
So we'll see if they have more, bigger body to them or whatever.
Yeah.
We did a bunch of lighting, a ton of new lighting in this new room, like a lot. Their whole entire lighting system came out, and we did a lot of lighting. And new console, new mics as well. So a bunch of stuff's happening in the same amount of time, more stuff in a really hard room to work in. Specialty lifts and the whole thing to work around pews.
And cherry pickers.
Yeah, so it's going well as of now. It's Thursday, so we got another day.
One more day to make it happen. So we're going to go do that.
Yep.
But yeah, that's it for today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Yep.
Ben, tell the fine people of the internet about Crown Design Group.
I mean, we are a one-stop shop for all your audio, video, and lighting needs. Try to use my deeper voice right there.
Get in there.
CrownDesignGroup.org is our website. You can go on, contact us there easily. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on X. I was going to say Twitter. We're on X as well now.
Nice. Elon Musk, hit us up.
We're even on TikTok, which I don't know if that's like anti-America or something. I don't know.
China, hit us up.
But we're on there.
We sell enough. We sell enough of their products, man.
That's true. That's true.
We're friends with China.
We got a small argument that started on our TikTok about doing production in churches.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we got a lot of extra plays on a video.
What'd they say?
This is a mega church. You say it's not a mega church, and this is a mega church.
Oh, because we said it wasn't. Which one?
It was a New Hope. They're like, what? And then it's all about, churches should be taxed, and it got into a. I was egging them on a little bit. I was like, no, we're going to post some mega church videos soon, and you'll see a mega church. This is a great church, but it's not a mega church.
I kind of agree. Churches should probably be taxed, but then I agree that no one should be taxed.
Correct.
So it's like you can't. The government's picking winners and losers.
Yeah,
and I get it. Churches help the community and stuff, so you're kind of offsetting that.
We
that
help
price.
churches, so we shouldn't be taxed then.
Amen.
I mean, anyway, all right. So yeah, hit us up on social media.
And end the Fed.
Yeah. Taxation is theft.
Taxation is theft.
And yeah, thanks for listening. CrownCare.help. If you need technical support anytime, you can get on CrownCare.help, and we can be in touch with you in just a matter of minutes, actually, to help you with any type of technical issue you might be having at your church or wherever. That's even on the weekends.
Amen.
That's all I got.
See y'all.
Yeah.